Yes, people, welcome to the returning Big Fights, Big Nights Only show on Sarcasm City TV, hosted by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. I'm joined by two of my three co-hosts. We'll start with the man to, I don't know if it's my right or the left on the screen, but yeah, my Don, Lindrix. Lindrix, were you telling me you good?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, fam?
Yeah, man, I'm blessed. No complaints. You already know how it is. And of course, as well, Beans, were you telling me everything good?
Yeah, bro, I'm good. What you telling me?
Yeah, man, I'm blessed. How you, man, been? Because obviously it's been a minute, as we were just going through literally before we went on air, that we've done one of these shows simply because there's been no boxing. I'm saying that there's been very little boxing, and adding the fact that we only do big fights as well, it's kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. But if you're new here, people, to this show, Big Fights, Big Nights Only, myself, Lindrix, Beans, JK, who will also be here as well to cover the biggest boxing fight. So we'll do a preview show normally in the week, a Thursday or Friday, and then we'll do a recap show immediately following the bout on Saturday. But before we even get onto that, you already know what to do. Whether you're new here or you're a regular, hit the like button on the video. If you're watching via YouTube right now, make sure you hit the like button on the video. Make sure you share it across all the socials and subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell because we literally go live every day. I think this is the third time today the channel's gone live. So I'm not capping. Yeah, as Lynchix was saying beforehand, because we're talking about capping.
We don't do no capping, bro.
Yeah, capping, you lot are jokers. But yeah, so big fights, big nights only. I love to everybody supporting the channel. So we are here to preview DILLIAN WHYTE versus Alexander Povetkin 2. I'm very much looking forward to this fight. Like, it's got so many variables. It's very interesting to me. I don't think the stakes could be any higher for DILLIAN WHYTE. Like, this is literally, I wouldn't say a make or break fight, but it's as close to. Like, if he loses this, like, he loses so much. Like, that whole chasing world titles is gone. World title shot gone. Like, I'm not saying he should retire, but then you have to really reconsider it. But we'll start with you, Beans. Give us your thoughts on, the preview of this fight. Give us your thoughts on this fight, who you have winning, and also your thoughts on the last fight as well. Because as you spoke about, we didn't do a show for the first one.
Yeah, okay. I'll start with the first fight just to make it easier. First fight for me, complete control. That's the best performance up until the point he got knocked out that I've actually seen him in terms of his boxing ability. Which, because I actually do rate DILLIAN WHYTE. I know I kind of go a lot of people up when I say that, but I just think he's from the Joshua fight onwards, the improvements and the work rate that he's put into the game, it's no major surprise for me to see him at the level he's at now, and he deserved to be there. In that fight, he was in control. He was just, everything was working good. But I think what happened is, if you remember, Povetkin was hitting him quite a lot to the body. So probably, even though they don't see, body shots are the worst things to take, in my opinion. I'd rather take 15, 20 shots to the head than 2 or 3 to the body. Because when you're big like that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. Go on, carry on. I was thinking more from, you get me, a aesthetic look, but go on, carry on. You get what I'm saying? Hit me to the body of it. Don't mark my face in it, but go on, carry on. I get your point.
I hear that. Yeah. Like one body shot can finish you in it. Like, and that's what.
Sorry, flawless, yeah. Man was sounding like, you know, when you fight with your friend at school, you're like, yeah, no hit in the face though, bro.
Yeah, no hit in the face.
Yeah.
Man's got a date on Saturday, no hit in the face, bro. No hit in the face.
Don't hit me in the face. Don't do that.
I want to be able to fight and then catch this girl straight after.
Don't hit me in the face. But go on. What Beans is saying is spot on. Body shots we've seen when they finish fighting.
Yeah, the body shots, and then it was basically like, even though he was in control, there's 2 things that got lost in the fight for me. So the body shots, because if you watch the uppercut that he lands to knock him out, he actually feints to the body and he drops to protect it with his elbow. So that tells me that the body shots must have been taking some effect and hurting him. Otherwise, you don't need to drop your elbow to block the body shot, because that's the only way you can block him. There's no other way. And Povetkin knew that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like he's thought, right, I've got him. And it's like, that's his last roll of the dice kind of thing, because he wasn't hurt. He was definitely hurt.
Yeah, did he not get dropped It was at least twice. Did he have him twice? Yeah, he had him on the ground.
Yeah. So the corner was looking to pull him out, but he must have just said, like, in his own language, "Oh, give me one more round."
Yeah.
So it's almost like he's going out there thinking like, I have to finish this guy, because if not, I'm done. So he set him up nice. So that was the only thing he switched off for a split second. And in that division, as we know, like, it only takes one punch to change the whole fight, which is exactly what happened. But the biggest disappointment for me, I don't think it was that. It was the corner telling Dillian Whyte to do what the instructions they gave him.
Go on.
So there's basically at the end of that round, you've dropped the guy twice. He's hurt. He's stumbling back to the corner, and then everyone could hear what the corner was basically saying. If it's translated into English, is basically they're telling Povetkin, like, they're pulling him out, and his response is to say, like, "No, give me one more round."
Yeah.
So that can easily get relayed back to his corner. They're telling Dillian Whyte to go back out there and just, like, stick behind your jab still. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Just carry on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas me, if that was me, I'm like, nah, finish this guy off. He's done. You could see it yourself. You could see it with your own two eyes. You don't even need anyone to come back to you and say, "Oh, they've just said they're gonna pull him." You can see that yourself. And even as a fighter, he should have known that he was hurt. So he should have gone and try and put it on him to finish him off. But because he's gone out there with the instructions of the corner, that was the worst thing he could have done. Because now you're actually fighting a wounded animal. The only thing he can do is fight dirty or throw the shot that he's thrown or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as if he's going to stand off and be like, "Yeah, come and hit me."
Yeah.
Because Povetkin don't fight like that anyway. He's a come forward fighter. So yeah, it's but leading up to this fight, there's nothing really Dillian Whyte has to really change. He can go out and do the same thing, but obviously to be a little bit more awake, like, don't switch off. But I don't think he will. I think, I don't think he will. I think he might do half, but I feel like he'll go in there looking for the knockout. I don't think he'll take the risk of that happening again. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much of a risk. Like you said, it's too much of a risk because of what's on the line for him. If he loses this, it's not a case of, "Oh, you now retire," but you go back, you go to the end of the queue, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like when it's kind of reminding me of, not saying he will lose. We're gonna get into all that when it happened with David Price and Thompson. Was it?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
remember. So, like, Price lost to him, and it was kind of like, all right, let's get the rematch and win the rematch. But then when he lost the second fight, if I remember correctly, he lost the second time. Obviously, he lost in, like, worse fashion, but there wasn't really, after he lost, I don't remember him ever being in that conversation again. He was never in the top tier conversation, if I remember. I'm actually going to check that out, but that's the one that sticks to my mind in terms of a comparison. The David Price with Thompson. It was Thompson being the first time, immediate rematch, and he beat him again, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah, definitely. Even with as recent as Hay and Bellew. Hay lost the first fight. All right, cool. You lose the first fight. It could have been one. Obviously, it was the injury played a big part. The second fight, you lose again, but in more of a
style.
Yeah. So that's why he retired, because you're trying to make a one last hurrah to try and come back to go to the top, and you can't even beat Tony Bellew. With no disrespect to Bellew, like, Bellew's I think is a very underrated fighter, but
he's not top of the crop.
So yeah. So you've got no chance of beating the big guys like Joshua's, Wilder's, all them guys. Like, you couldn't beat Bellew. So it's not as deep for Whyte, but if he does lose, then there's so many guys that will jump ahead of you, where you're gonna have to have a couple of fights back, maybe at domestic level even.
If Whyte loses this fight, he basically becomes Derek Chisora.
Whew.
No. Don't,
Wait.
Hold on. Derek Chisora has lost more than 10 fights. This will only be his third defeat if he does lose. Now, come on, bro.
The reason why I say that is
let him land. I think I know where you're going with this. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. In today's, first of all, actually, before I say anything else, I want to welcome Pink Hoodie Flawless to the show. Welcome.
You know what I'm saying? Out here, fresh to death and that. Man.
Listen, I was nearly Pink Hoodie Zayla, so you know.
It's a matter. But you get going, family.
Yeah. In this day and age, win-loss records are much closer than they have been in previous years. So to become a Derek Chisora in previous years, you would have had to have lost 10 fights. But losing 3 fights now, and the state that the heavyweight division's in, the fact that there's only 2, 3, 4 people that anybody actually cares about in the heavyweight division, I think because White lost the first fight, against a 40-year-old Povetkin, if he then loses the next fight against a 41-year-old Povetkin, then you are
Povetkin's 40 as well.
You're pulling yourself down in the ranks already just from those 2 losses as it is. If he's got 3 losses already and that hits him on a 4th loss, and Povetkin's almost like okay, Povetkin is like the Tony D of boxing, innit? So
you've lost me on that one. What?
Yeah, I don't know where he's going with that.
Go on, I'll let you land in it. I'm gonna let you land.
When Tony D stepped down from being the champion, he was the gatekeeper to getting the title shot, innit? So Raptor battled him, lost, but still ended up getting the title shot. Shots battled him, lost, but still ended up getting the title shot. Povetkin's like the gatekeeper now for getting to that next stage of boxing. He's been there as an elite fighter for many years. Now in that situation whereby he's the gatekeeper to, okay, now this is the next level. If you can't get past that, then they're not going to put you in with these big guys. There's no way.
Hold on.
And I'm talking simply from the point of the way the commercial market looks at boxing nowadays, right?
Let me spin that, quickly, because what you just said there, you just said that Tony D stepped down. If you then Raptor lost to him and still got a title shot, so the shots got a title shot. So if Dillian White loses, then does he not get a title shot?
First of all, let's do something. Let's not compare the logistics of battle rap.
No. You brought the battle rap into it, not me.
Because
I get, you know what? I get what Lindrix is saying in terms of, because I didn't know where he was going with either of those analogies, but that's why he's on the show, because they both landed perfectly. They both did land. I was skeptical at first, thinking, yo, where is Lindrix going? But that's why I said let him land. If it was someone I didn't know, I would have cut them off. But I'm like, let Lindrix land in it. Because I trust you in it. So I'm like, there's a reason you're here, you get what I'm saying? So I trust you. So in terms of what you're saying about White being Chisora, do I think he goes to the level of Chisora? No, because of the losses, the amount of losses Chisora has. But does White then become, like you said, the gatekeeper? He's the test to see if he can go to the next level. Similar. No. What I'm saying is, we're asking about it because if you say he does lose to, let's say hypothetically, then this is where we'll go with this. If he does lose to Povetkin, what's his next fight? Because he's still got options in that sense.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Of course he has.
Now you know what the
man is to go and fight Chisora again.
You know what the mad thing is? I think if he loses, I think he goes to try and fight Povetkin again. I think that's his aim.
Yeah, because realistically, even if all right, let me put it like this then. Yeah, this is how I can put a little spin on it. Yeah, So let's say he loses. Yeah, Povetkin keeps his mandatory spot for the WBC title, which is obviously held by Fury.
Yeah.
So they've got a 2-fight deal, so that could take up the whole of this year. So Povetkin now has to wait until next year. Is he really going to want to wait to just sit down, or is he going to want to fight at the age he is? And for White, yeah, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't want to go and fight Povetkin back to get that position back. But then does Povetkin think like, well, I don't need to fight you again because this is a rematch because of the clause.
That's what I'm saying.
If White loses, hear me out. If White loses, because Joshua ain't going to want to fight Povetkin, he's already beat him. And for me, Fury's too big for Povetkin to beat him. Like, he just ain't going to get close to Fury. Just no chance.
The only two
even for White
can fight
White can still fight Ortiz because Ortiz has lost now a couple of times.
Ortiz is one.
Yeah.
He can fight.
I said, I'm saying you're right. Ortiz is one.
Ruiz he could still fight. Wilder, he could still fight.
That's why I was going to go with that. I was going to go with that.
Just alone, those two, because of the animosity and the hatred between them, that's a massive fight. It sells itself. Do you know what I'm saying? No matter if White does lose, so that's free. So then they're still they're all in the top 5 in the heavyweight division right now. In the rankings, there's none of those are outside the top 5. So after that, Chisora is not even in the top 10. Really, you've got Usyk. Usyk could fight him.
Let me just respond to this. If Povetkin loses the first fight, he'll never get a rematch with White. The reason why Povetkin wouldn't have got a rematch if they lost the first fight is because Povetkin was the challenger. No, it's because he's the challenger. That's how this works.
Yeah,
if you're the champion, and if you're the what's it called, the champion, and I'm the challenger, and I challenge you and you beat me, I don't get a rematch. But if I beat the champion, you get to rematch. Like, just clearing that up for people that don't work. One thing I will say, Beans, on the whole, Wilder was one who stuck out to me. That's the one instinctively. As soon as, obviously we're talking hypothetical, I'm therefore saying
I was
Wilder.
getting to it and I was building up to it.
Yeah. I think this is why here. I don't think Ruiz fights him because I don't think Ruiz wants it, because supposedly they offered him big money. So I think if White takes another loss,
they offered him more money. They offered him more money than what he got for the first Joshua fight.
That tells you. But you know what? He thought, White, nah. And you know what?
A lot of these guys don't want it with White because he's a problem. He's actually a problem.
He's a problem. Well, okay, yo, JK, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm still like gonna be in the store, so I ain't on the camera yet.
All right, no worries.
As soon as I get home.
Yeah. No stress. Just turn the camera on. Yeah, man, we good. Just turn the camera on when you're ready and give us a thumbs up.
Yes, JK, you good?
Well, you bless, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
What's
man. Yeah, man.
JK, man?
Yes, JK.
Man.
It's been a minute, man. And I spoke to you since like December. I think we all are. But yeah, back to the point. So if he does lose, does he have options because of how stacked the division is? Yes, but
100%.
His name like he's got options that lead him to a world title, though. That's the point.
He's got to build back up. My point here.
No. Yeah, he don't get in like that. No way.
Not
very defeat.
He's not in world
I'm not saying
more then, which is why I say
one fight. But he's only one fight away again though from being back in. If he fights Wilder, he's straight back in the mix. If he fights Ruiz, he's straight back in the mix. If he loses, then if he loses, then that's when you can then put him down and out of the mix completely for at least 2 or 3 fights. If he loses against Povetkin and then another guy in the top 5, then yes. If
he loses to Povetkin, I don't see Ruiz fighting him simply because Ruiz didn't want to fight him on the up. So I don't think he wants to fight him now when it's going to be less money. Wilder maybe takes it, but to me that'd be silly.
Ruiz needs to fight eating McDonald's, bruv.
It's silly on Dillian White's part, coming off of 2 straight losses.
Ruiz needs to fight obesity, and then we can
have you seen Ruiz though? Have you seen Ruiz?
Has he slimmed down?
He looks good.
Wait. Is he doing the bird's eye view pose? Is that
No. You know, he's training with Canelo. He's training with
like a parking cone, bro. What are you talking about?
Okay, so let's go. So let's go through it.
He's in the same camp now as Canelo. and Eddie Reynoso. Like those guys don't mess around. Like you can't be playing in their gym. Like they're serious. They're about business.
I hear that,
so
but I don't think the Ruiz fight happens. I don't think that. I think I'm more.
I don't think he will.
Is more.
Wilder.
You mentioned Parker. I don't even see Wilder fighting him because Wilder wasn't too keen on fighting him in general anyway. So coming off a loss, Wilder's probably they're both White and Wilder. No disrespect, I'm not looking for that tough of a fight. Coming off the losses they're coming off. White's coming off 2 losses. Wilder's coming off.
If he loses,
if he loses, we're talking hypothetical. They're both coming off 2 losses. You don't want to fight each other. If I'm coming off 2 losses, I don't want to see Wilder.
Let's put it this way: Joshua will fight Big Baby Miller before Wilder fights Dillian White. Fact. That's the fact.
So you're basically saying that will never happen because that guy ain't never getting in no title challenge ever in his life again. Miller, he's done it. He's finished.
Yeah. Miller, I got no time for drug cheats, man. I hope so. I got no time.
Not once. The guy came back and got caught again.
Yeah.
Nah, don't take the piss.
So I'm looking at here's the heavyweight rankings. This ain't in order, but this is what they've got. So this is just like on BoxRec. So you got Fury, Joshua, Wilder, Povetkin, Usyk, Andy Ruiz, Michael Hunter, Dillian White, Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz. I'm saying any names I've missed out. Joe Joyce, Otto Wallin, Joseph Parker, Oscar Rivas. Just making sure I'm just going through all the the governing bodies and that if there's any. So there's no real big names I've missed. Chisora 3 makes sense to me. That's probably the most logical.
You see, when I think that will happen, I think that will happen. Like if Chisora can stick around a little bit longer, that will happen towards the back end of White's career, in my opinion. If Chisora can box on that long, because you have to remember White's 32. I think Chisora's like 37 or 38, so he ain't got that long left in the game. And White has. Do you know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I don't really care if to see that fight again because he won both fights. So it's like, but I get it for the trilogy of like them being the what they can create in terms of a fight. Then it's good for them. But
because you got
trilogy's only worth it when you've got one.
It's only
when it's one.
There's no way
when it's 1-1. But what we're saying is in this hypothetical sense, this is Dillian White coming off of 2 losses, so that kind of changes. Because I'm looking at his options. It's like, all right, so there's no Joshua, there's no Fury. I don't think Wilder fights him. I don't think Usyk fights him. So that's 4.
Because if he fights Chisora again, if he loses, then he's done. Like he might as well forget it. So I don't think if he does lose to Povetkin, I don't think he'd take Chisora as his next fight. Because to me, it don't make sense. Because if he does lose, because it's a possibility. Because when them two fight, it's just like.
There's no. You know what the problem is?
There's no skill involved. It's just a war. It's just like
coming off of 2 losses. I don't want anyone we've mentioned. I'm not saying White's not the favorite and I don't favor him. If you're coming off of 2 losses, you don't want to see Luis Ortiz coming off of 2 losses. You don't want to see a Wilder. You don't even a Parker who I favor him against to beat. Even a Chisora who I favor him against to beat. They're not the type.
So how far down the pecking order do you want the guy to go?
I think to save his career. I think
the further you go down, the longer it's going to take for you to get back. Do you know what I'm saying? Because right now, as soon as these 2 fights are done, that whole heavyweight division, you could potentially, with the fights that have to be made, see the belts change hands a lot.
Can I ask a question?
Even if they don't, there's still going to be a lot of title defenses.
Before you go into though, let me ask a question. After Fury and Joshua fight, does the heavyweight division then become extremely boring?
Nah, because look at the other.
Let me see what he's going with.
It's because
go
on. Fury Joshua fighting is one of the big.
Your mic's a bit dodgy, Lindrix, or is it just me? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear it a bit.
Yeah.
So Fury Joshua is like one of the most exciting fights to happen in recent years. Yeah, maybe one of the most exciting fights ever in boxing, right? Because it's 2 British guys that are champions that one of them's taking home all the belts. It hasn't been fought for like that in forever, right? So once that fight is, or once those two fights are done with, who really is there that's a definite contender for the heavyweight championship belts? Because if Joshua beats Fury twice, who's there that Joshua's not beaten that is worth him fighting in the heavyweight division? Because it's not like there's people coming up in the division that are super excited and raw. When this guy gets his shot, it's gonna be mad. It's like we're talking about a bunch of old dudes and a bunch of fighters who have already been beaten by the champion. So really, is the heavyweight division exciting anymore? Or are we waiting for someone to come in now and someone who's actually going to push a challenge that's actually going to bright up for one, and two, make a Dillian Whyte actually have something to fight for? Because to me, all the people we're talking about in fighting, apart from Wilder, he beats very easily. I don't think he has a problem with Andy Ruiz if he fights him. I don't think he has a problem with Parker. If he fights Chisora, he wins again. If he fights Joe Joyce, I don't think Joe Joyce will be able to handle his experience. If he fights Usyk, I don't think Usyk will fight him, but if he does, I think he's going to be too strong for Usyk. I just feel, and his gas tank's not like Chisora's, he can actually keep going. It's like there's nobody for Whyte to beat to actually move up the ladder in a significant way that puts him in line for a title shot that people are actually going to fucking care about.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll respond to that. I think every division, you make some great points. Every division is always waiting on the next guy to come up. One thing we're forgetting is, because you mentioned, does Joshua Fury become boring? Here's the thing. Say, for instance, Joshua wins those two fights. Fury is now in the mix with everybody else. He has all them people to fight. He has a Whyte to fight. He has I'm getting hella feedback from someone here. Is that you? Beans, is that you? I'm getting hella feedback from someone.
What that is?
What is that? Is that you, Lindrix? Yo, someone say, yo, Lindrix. Yeah, it was you and Lindrix. Hella feedback from you. Yeah, we're back now. Yeah, it was. Oh, someone used man, innit? Oh, is it me? Can you man hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
I could, but I can't now.
Can't hear it now.
Yo. Can you man hear me? It's not me, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, fuck no, it sounded like someone was going on.
It's gone, innit?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
We back, people, man. Technical difficulties, we back. It should have been across the screen and that. But as we were saying, the loser of those two
Channel
fights,
4 after 2 o'clock, yeah?
Yeah, Channel 4 after 2 o'clock. Those two, the loser of those two fights now goes into that mix. And with heavyweight boxing as well, you're always just one. There's always one big punch away. Like, who would have thought, if we was doing a preview to this POVETKIN Whyte, the first one, you would have thought 6 months later we'll be here talking about number 2 and that. You know what I'm saying? And that big up saying the Joker in it. You like get a likes up on the video as well. So that's why I don't think it becomes boring. Because you have you have Joshua, you have Fury, you have Wilder, you have Whyte, you have Usyk. I don't think there's many divisions in boxing that has those 5. And then behind that, you still have your Chisora, you still have a Parker, you have, let me check the list on that. I've just named 7 off the top of the whole. You have Ruiz there.
Ruiz.
You know what I'm saying? And that.
Ortiz.
Ortiz. So do you know what I'm saying? Like,
but
Joyce.
who do we care about fighting? Like
Joyce.
I care about that. Like, okay, let's say for instance, okay.
I care about that as well.
Like any of those people.
I care.
So for instance,
you must be a casual boxing
Who
fan,
do we
innit?
care about the Fury fight, bro? Who do we
Take him off the show, man. Take him off.
Like seriously, on a serious note, on a serious note, who do we actually care about seeing Fury fight? Because for me, most of those guys that we're talking about, bar Joe Joyce, are too small. Like,
but just because they're too small doesn't mean you don't want to. I put it this way: I've been a Floyd Mayweather fan pretty much. I've been a Floyd Mayweather fan pretty much his whole career. I knew going into all of Floyd's fights that he was gonna win. Did that stop me from staying up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, knowing this guy is gonna win?
Hell no.
It's like me playing FIFA and amateur. I know I'm gonna win, but I'm still gonna do it. It's the same difference in that. It's the same thing because what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you in that. I'm with you.
We respect, of course, the not knowing part is all well and good, but we respect skill set. I just want to see Fury fight at this point because he's been so inactive with obviously the whole pandemic and corona and everything. So I just want to see him fight Joshua. Despite who wins both fights, in an ideal world, I want him to win one and Joshua to win one, so we get the trilogy. That's in my ideal world. But even if Fury wins 2, I'd love to see Fury Usyk. Do I believe Fury beats him? Yes. I'd love to see Fury White. Love to see just for the build up. And then in that time as well, and in that time, what we're forgetting is boxers pop up out of nowhere. Boxers always pop up out of nowhere in every division. Give it the end of 2022. There's going to be at least 2 new people we're talking about. At least
100%.
And we at least in agreement that neither of whoever wins out of Povetkin and White still doesn't deserve a title shot. They actually need to.
Of course they do.
Because if you're mandatory, you deserve your shot.
Yeah.
Are we talking?
Of course they did. Dillian White already deserved his points, his title already. Before he fought Povetkin, before he fought Rivas, before he fought that big lump.
No, because he's no. I think you're misconstruing. You're misconstruing the two though, Lindrix, in terms of there's a difference between deserving it on a skill set level, but if you get your mandatory, you deserve it. Skill set's not that.
And he was the mandatory. He was the mandatory.
I get it in terms of mandatory.
So he was the mandatory challenger for 2 years. For 2 years without a title fight. In that same time, look at Ortiz had 2 challenges. He wasn't even above Dillian White in any of the rankings. Had 2 title challenges. So did what's the guy called? Wilder knocked out and Joshua beat as well.
Brazil.
So Joshua, Brazil. He had two challenges. Molina had 2. These guys weren't more highly ranked than Dillian White at the times when they fought for the belts. So if you're number 1 for one governing body for 2 years, you deserve that title challenge. When you're already taking on other people and not losing, you furthermore deserve that. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. You're the number 1 challenger. You're beating everybody else whilst you're waiting. You deserve that shot. Do you know what I'm saying? And he didn't get it. So if he beats Povetkin, he gets his position back. So that tells me that he's worthy of it, more so because you've now come back from a defeat and put it right. So whenever you get the opportunity, he's still going to have to fight again. So he might lose it again if he does beat Povetkin, because Joshua and Fury, that's a 2-fight deal. That's back to back. So that takes this whole year out and maybe even some of next year, depending on when the rematch is. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it might not fall this year. So then White's still going to have to fight someone else. He's not going to sit around until the back end of the year or next year and wait for the winner of the 2 fights. He'll need to fight again to stay active. So that could be a Wilder next if he beats Povetkin. Say that again?
I was going to say to that comment there, for me, Lawrence Okoli isn't big enough to be.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. I was just flicking through so the people know in the comments and that. People know in the comments. But Lindrix, give us your thoughts on the first fight, the first White Povetkin fight, and then do your predictions on the second one as well.
For the first fight, I think Dillian White did everything right, apart from drop his hand and take that shot. I mean, it for me, some people kept calling it a lucky punch, and I don't think it is a lucky punch. I think it's something that worked on. That was something that, and it's funny because I don't often agree with David Hay because I think he talks nonsense quite a lot. But I was watching an interview today from him, and he was talking about that fight, and he was saying, that wasn't a lucky shot. That they'd worked on that. They'd worked on throwing that shot in training camp. You could see it because it was placed. It was strategically placed, and I think. Well done for Povetkin, but I honestly think that's the only error that Dillian White made in that fight. Now, what I will say is this, is if one error can cost you the fight, just that one error against someone like Povetkin at this stage in your career, then you're gonna have trouble going up to fight Joshua again and Fury and even a Wilder, because they've been involved in a level of fights that is
exactly how sorry to cut you off. How Povetkin beat him is exactly how I could see the Wilder fight going. White dominating him, and then Wilder just catches him with a big shot. That's Wilder's game plan. I mean, that's what Wilder does. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what's going on. I'm gonna just catch you with this one shot.
Yeah. Do you know the thing what I picked up on with White as well? If you look at the 2 defeats he's had, what shot has knocked him out? The uppercut. Both occasions. Joshua knocked him out with the uppercut. And Povetkin knocked him out with an uppercut. 2 different types of uppercuts, but they're still uppercuts. And it's not just they knocked him down and he couldn't make the count. Like both times they knocked him out cold. Both times. So that might be a shot. That might be a shot that is his Achilles heel. Do you know what I mean? Like that might be the uppercut, might be the one that you can catch him with that and he's in trouble.
That's all she wrote type of thing. Nah, go on, carry on with what you're saying about
I mean, I think that was his only mistake. It does worry me that, you know, that's the only mistake that was had to have been made for him to lose the fight. I think that's dangerous, him going into this next fight. But having said all that, I do actually think that Dillian will win this fight, because I think because he now understands Povetkin's weapon, he won't be as cautious and he will take him out a little bit earlier. I don't think he will stand back like he did in the first fight. Like you say, after the cornerman told him to keep on the jab and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I think he will just shoot to kill in this next fight. I don't think
I want to just touch on your point as well there a bit more. Yeah. What you said about Povetkin. Like, that's something that he would have worked on for that fight. But if you go and watch back most of Povetkin's previous fights, even the shots he was throwing in the fight, even though he was losing, they're the same type of shots. It's the same type of pressure. Yeah. He has a select amount of punches that he throws. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If he throws like one punch, you know this one's coming, the overhand right. If he throws this punch, you know this one's coming. But what he did with Dillian Whyte was like what you said. He kept going to the body, and then he feinted, knowing that he's going to bring his elbow down and then come up. So most of the time when you do get knocked out, it is the punch that you don't see. Yeah. And he definitely didn't see that coming. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you see the shot, you can ride it a bit. So that's why if you do get caught, even if you go down, you can get up. Yeah. But yeah, that was, I just wanted to kind of, because it is a valid point that you made, that he will work on that, because that's something that he continuously works on. So with some fighters it will work on, and won't get to land that shot on Joshua. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So
he just wouldn't have it. And the thing is, especially fighting a Joshua, you know, Joshua's actually very quick for such a big guy. Like, he's very sharp, very quick. His movement's quick. Like, if he works on his fluidity, this is the thing I keep saying about the Joshua Fury fight. If Joshua works on his fluidity in his movement, he's a problem. He's a problem because he's quick and he hits hard and he's a big guy, you know. And he just
needs better head movement.
Yeah, I just feel like these guys now, these Povetkins and the Dillian Whytes, I just feel like, okay, they can fight each other, but stepping up to that next level, I think Joshua's just a little bit too far away from them, and I feel like Fury's just a little bit too far away from them for them to be any sort of real challenge for either of those fighters.
I get your point in what you're saying in that. One thing about White is, though, like, win, lose, or draw, against any of the top three, they're all entertaining fights. Well, tuning in. If it's White versus Fury, Wilder, or Joshua, another rematch. Like from the build up, and it right to the. I want to see White Wilder. Not only do I, that's probably the fight I'm looking forward to the most in terms of, I think he'll be absolutely in the ring, Them two just going at it. And I legit, I would favor Wilder, but White could catch him and put him out definitely. And the build up to that man would, from the ink's not even dry on the contract. That man a trash talk. That man are not going to show up.
Absolutely,
they're the same. White's a big talker. Wilder, they are not shutting up in that. They always mention it.
Their egos are massive. Their egos are massive, innit?
Yeah. That's why I want to see it. It's still there, but I
do want to see that.
I've said it. So who do you give us your thoughts on the actual preview the actual bout that's coming up? White Povetkin 2. What's your thoughts on that, Lindrix? And I'm gonna give my thoughts on it.
I feel like White comes in and takes Povetkin out earlier. I think he's learnt from his mistakes. I think he'll go in. I think he's very confident. I think he'll go in quite sharp, and I think he'll go in quite heavy from the beginning, because the one thing about White that I quite appreciate is his stamina. Like, he can, even if he pounds out, he can last a fight, you know. He's very strong, and his legs are strong. He can keep going. So, but I do feel like he will look to come out and take Povetkin out early, and is how I see the fight going. I reckon 5th round.
You saying 5th round? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you lot again continue. Muds, let us know how many likes. Well, actually, I can check it. Let me see how many likes. We're on 15, so get us to 20. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, Sarcasm City TV. Make sure you follow Lindrix and Beatings across all their platforms. You can see their names there. My thoughts on the first fight pretty much follow both of what you said and echoing that in terms of he was in complete control in the first bout. Yeah. I'm watching it entertain, like, all right, he's going to end this at any moment. Was it a lucky shot? No. I don't believe, like, a lucky shot happened. Like, every shot you throw pretty much, you're either setting up to knock out your opponent or you're trying to knock out your opponent. Povetkin threw that shot. Povetkin threw that shot trying to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? So you can. So there's no such thing as a lucky put. He's gone to, like, Povetkin's not hit him and be like surprised by what happened. Like, no, that's the goal. You know me? So he's very lucky shot is no. I think it was a world class shot, and that's not why. That's just one of them shots. Like, when he hit him with it, I was like.
Yeah, it was perfect. He set it up perfect. And you can't land that shot any better.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't land that shot any better.
Like, there was no crowd. You heard him hit the camera. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was like, ooh. You know what I'm saying?
You know what was mad?
Even the referee was his body like smoking from Friday. Think about, you got knocked the fuck out, man. Yeah. Like, he was gone, bro.
Me and my son was watching it. Turned away for a split second. So I didn't see the actual punch. I just heard the thud. And I turned back and I was like, yo, what's just happened? And my son's like, Dad. So I had to wait for a good minute and a half, before you see it on the replay. And then I was like, oh.
And that's the whole point. All this, it was a lucky shot. No, he got caught with it.
Nah, it wasn't lucky. A world class shot.
And I think hindsight's always great, because when a fight is in control of a fight and he gets aggressive, and then he's not aggressive enough, and then he gets knocked out, you should have been more aggressive. But then when a fighter's got a fighter hurt, so say for instance, White gets caught with that shot, being aggressive. Everyone's talking about, you need to, similar to Joshua Ruiz, the first one. Joshua knocked it down in the first one, jumped in, like everyone's telling White to do. He jumped in and got all over him, and then people were like, then when he got stopped, you need to be more defensive. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't take too much stock into it, because people, whatever you don't do, people are going to criticize you for. Like I said with the White one, you need to be more aggressive. But then with the Joshua one, he was aggressive against Ruiz and got stopped. And then people are talking about you need to be more defensive. If White gets caught with that shot, being aggressive and on the front foot, like jumping in, trying to swing a hook, people are like, you're too wild, dude. So that's why I'm like, White will take full blame for that. And in the interviews, he's like, right, I got caught with a world-class shot. It happens type of thing. So that's my fault from the first fight.
I think on that one there, what you're saying about the Joshua, the difference between the two times is, if you look at how when Joshua knocked down Ruiz, when Ruiz got up, he was fine. His legs was good. I think even Ruiz was shocked, because that's the first time he's ever been dropped. So when he got back up, he was like, and that was the mistake that Joshua made, because you don't have him hurt.
Yeah.
So he rushed in thinking like that was his inexperience of knowing like, that's what I'll do to everyone, and this is how I finished him. but the difference with the White and Povetkin was hurt, and if you're as a fighter, you know when you've got someone hurt. If you're switched on, which Joshua wasn't, that's why he got beat. So when he got caught in that fight, like you say, yeah, it was a world-class shot. Either way, if he would have been aggressive, or I don't think that would have happened personally. The same way how it did.
He needs to be more on the White one. I think he just needs to just be more aware of that, just less carelessness. It seemed that I can't say he dropped to say he wasn't concentrating and he dropped his guard. I'm not saying all that, but like you said, Povetkin was landing.
He did switch. He switched off. It was what I think he switched off was doing is that he went back too far onto the ropes, so you ain't got nowhere to go now.
I just want to again.
That was the.
I want to give Povetkin.
That was his mistake. Yeah. Give him full credit.
Credit for the shot, because if that with Wilder, 100%, we're hailing up Wilder. We're not talking about what White should have done. So it's like just because it's 40-year-old Povetkin and he wasn't supposed to do it. That world class, he wasn't supposed to do it, but the shot was world class. That's one of the best knockouts I can remember seeing in recent times. The only one that comes close to recent times was Leo Santa Cruz when he got stopped by Gervonta Davis. I jumped out of my bed when that happened. Like, what a shot that was.
I was literally nearly falling asleep when that one. That was just brought me up in it.
That uppercut came from the floor. Like, have you seen the meme when Mark Simpson throwing dice?
Me, you know?
That's what it looks like.
I know Gervonta is a killer.
Yeah, you know he can hit, but he did look like Marge Simpson throwing dice. Someone did the split screen.
That was actually funny.
Bang, and he's hit him so that's what it is. So on that fight, I'm like, all right, can you bounce back? What I'm more interested to see is how does White approach the fight? Does he approach it in the exact same manner? Does he approach it more aggressively? Does he approach it more defensively? Like, is it not playing on his mind, but being like, okay, I can't let that happen again? Similar to how Joshua switched up against Ruiz. I don't think White goes that far. I don't think he alters his style like that. I just think White fights how he fights. But if he does come out and fight the same way, I'll give him credit for that, because a knockout like that, no fighters are changing what they do. But he's not in style whatsoever. So that's why but I expect him to win the fight anyway. I do think he stops him. I think that shot would have woken him up. He's like, all right, let me make sure I'm on job for this. This doesn't happen again. Let me get him hurt because I know I can hurt him. Let's try and get him out within 5 to 6 rounds because he can hit me with that. But I think Povetkin I can see him throwing an uppercut in the first round. You know what I'm saying? He's looking for that again. If he's smart, he's looking for that again. He's swinging that in it. Not even jab first, you know what I'm saying? Unorthodox shit, innit? Let me just throw this up.
The thing is, he actually threw that. He threw that shot. He threw that shot first fight, but because he wasn't in the range to land it as well, and White was actually defending it much better. It's obviously when it's got to the point of the body shots, because that's what Povetkin decided to do, because he was trying to go up top in the first round or two, and he was just getting his head. You remember White was just absolutely jabbing his head off, and then when in the third round, I think that's when he switched up and started going to the body a bit. So by the 5th round, it took its toll a bit. I know how it feels. It feels when you think that a body shot's coming, you definitely will put your elbow down. So
does Povetkin do the same thing again? Does he just go and try and just attack the body straight away from the first round? Does he just go body first?
That's the smart thing to do for him.
That's probably the best way to do it. But it's how White will start the fight is he might wait to see how Povetkin comes. Does Povetkin change anything? Does he do the same thing? And then he'll be able to react from that, because he'll have more than one game plan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like he can't, because he's made minor adjustments. So that tells me that you're happy with how you was fighting, but you need to tweak 1 or 2 things, which is evident to see. And it was clear to see from how you got knocked out. Like there's only 1 or 2 things you really need to change, but what is it? What are those changes going to be? And that's what what you're going to do to know that we're going to switch up slightly as well, make minor adjustments. He got dropped twice as well. And if you look at those knockdowns, they weren't with they're close little ones. Just, do you know what I'm saying? They weren't like full uppercuts or big hooks or anything. They're short, snappy punches, and he was still dropping Povetkin. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, and I've never seen Povetkin get dropped like that as easy. Not in this early stage of the fight. Later in the fight, I've seen it happen to him against Klitschko and Joshua, but never in that fourth round. And I know obviously age can play its part as well, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't see White losing though.
Okay, we'll get everyone. Well, we'll start with you, being since you're there. Predictions. So, who do you have winning and how?
White knockout. I'm not going to say a round. I'm not going to pick a round.
We ain't doing all that. That's a bit too much, isn't it? Our knowledge of the sport is very limited as it is. We ain't doing rounds and that in it. I barely get through these shows, innit? This is why JK's here. You know what I'm saying? To make up for my lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's here. But,
I could throw around him, but I just in that division,
you never know.
It's too unpredictable. So I'll just say White by knockout.
You saying White KO? Lindrix? What are you telling us? Are you just prepared?
I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying Dillian White knockout round 5.
All right, check you. You better put money on that. The way you're saying that, I'm saying I'm full house as well. I'm saying White by knockout. Of course, I'm not picking around. And JK's here. JK, first and foremost, what you saying, man? You good? Feel like I'm not spoken to you in time.
I know, JK. What you telling us?
Man, I got Dillian White, man. He can't get lazy though, man.
No.
Yeah, he there's like and fights. There's moments where he just gets lazy. It's like a wide receiver when they don't get the ball, they don't want to run the route or block. Dillian White do that shit. Here, he gets lazy.
I'm sure that's a terrific analogy, but I have no idea what a wide receiver is supposed to do and not do with it. But I get your point.
American football.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm writing it, JK. American football.
You know who Jerry Rice is, right?
I've heard the name. I don't know what he does. I've heard the name, but I don't know what he does. Maybe Lindrix has more knowledge on that than I do. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know more about baseball than I do football.
Okay. All right. So yeah, go on. Like I said, JK, we've all done it, but we'll also let you do it as well in terms of give us your thoughts on the first fight and obviously what happened with the whole knockout, and then your predictions for the second one.
Yeah, like I said, man, he just has moments where he gets lazy. And that's what happened, man. He let his guard down, got lazy. I mean he was winning the fight easily. So I think he'll end up stopping Povetkin this time. I think Povetkin might get too hyped over that shot that he landed, and he might come in and get caught. I think he might be a little cocky over that shot he landed.
That's a good point.
That's a valid point.
I say around 5 or 6 or something like that.
Okay, I can't even blame him in it. If I landed that shot, I'd be cocky about it till I died. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, I'll be cocky about it, but like in the fight, you might think, you could do that, land that shot.
Facts upon facts. So you've got White winning. I'm guessing via KO.
I was in Walmart. I heard Lindrix naming a whole bunch of heavyweights, man, and I think he forgot about King Kong, man. I think King Kong beat all the people that he named when he was talking about who's there if Joshua beats Fury. It's like any up-and-comers naming everybody. And I honestly think King Kong beats everybody. I mean, obviously he got beat by Wilder twice because anybody could get knocked out by him. But I think King Kong can beat
old though, bro.
Yeah, but hey, so's Povetkin. You know what I'm saying?
King Kong. Yeah, but King Kong's like 103 years old, bro.
But you can still punch, fam. King Kong's still out here fighting Godzilla, fam.
You know what I'm saying? To be fair, it's true because I did use the analogy of George Foreman earlier today. So it's right. It can happen. It can happen.
But yeah, he's not like, besides Fury, he's the best boxer as a heavyweight. I think he's way more fluid than Joshua. Joshua's a good boxer, but more
You think he's more fluid than Usyk?
He's southpaw as well. He's southpaw in it as well.
Yeah, I think King Kong, he gets Povetkin out of there. He gets White out of there. I think he gets all them guys out of there.
Okay. You know what? I'm a fan of King Kong, so I'm here. I hear you.
He did almost get Wilder out of there in the first fight.
In the first fight,
People sleep on how good that fight was. That was a very good fight.
Second fight too.
If he put the punches together better in that fight, he would have beat Wilder. He just got sloppy. he tried to go for the kill too much instead of it being. You see what I like about Joshua? The difference there is Joshua is once he's got you hurt. If you look at his punch selection, it is extremely it's phenomenal. Teasers was a bit like more just wild. There was no calmness to it, which was a bit of surprising because
but remember,
those guys are kind of
the round before too. So
he was possibly.
None of those guys have Wilder's power that Lendrick's name, so they might not be able to get Ortiz out of there.
Yeah, that's true.
Ortiz sure got that power, and he is slick than a motherfucker though.
He is.
Do you think Joshua's got the power though to take Ortiz out?
I do. I don't know if it'll be like one shot, but
probably a combination.
Yeah.
See, Joshua's got a powerful one punch power, but it's not as powerful as Wilder's. Joshua's better at combination knockouts.
Joshua's got a really good way of bombarding a fighter with punches so that the referee stops the fight.
You know, it reminds me of
and because he's so accurate.
Golovkin. Golovkin is not like a one punch, but it's just a lot of punches, and ref stops the fight or something like that.
The Joshua's best punch is his uppercut. That's the one. If he knocks you out with one punch, it's more likely going to be the uppercut. Not any other punch.
I hear what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. The heavyweight division is defo, regardless of what happens with Fury or Joshua, who wins, who loses.
It's stacked, you know. For the first time in a long time, it's stacked with big fights.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it is stacked. I actually like how it looks right now.
I like you said before. It's really hard to top Joshua Fury. I think that's going to be really.
Of course. Yeah, of course. But it's still after that. There's still big fights to be made.
Joshua Fury is the biggest fight in the sport, so no division going to top that.
After that, there's still big fights in that division for a number of years. And like you said, Flawless, every couple of years, there's someone else who comes out. I think there's an American guy. You might know who it is, JK.
Michael Hunter.
The African guy. The African guy.
Effie Ajagba, yeah.
I've seen a bit of him.
One more year, man. One more year.
See, I don't even know about him. That's the whole point. All it takes is one or two new guys, and that can just rejuvenate a whole division.
I've never seen that shit where you scare somebody to the point where they go out after the bell is rang.
What happened? Go on, say that again. What happened?
No? Have you not seen it?
So look, they go in the ring, they touch gloves, they go to the corner, and he just look at a jockler, and then he left the fucking ring, dude. He went
real? I see that. I thought it was fake. Is that real?
Oh, that's real.
Man said that.
I think I saw this on Instagram the other day, actually.
Because look, Joshua, I think he had put like 2 or 3 people in the hospital before that. So he's not he's like Wilder, but more skilled and a little bit more beefy.
Okay.
How does a fight between him and Wilder look?
It looks crazy. It looks crazy. But I think
send me some clips of him fighting.
Effie Ajagba?
Yeah, send me some clips of him fighting.
Okay, yeah, I'll tag you, man. I'll tag you.
All right, sweet. Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah, I've seen him fight a couple of times.
What's his nationality?
He's African.
African? Where? What? Which African country? You know?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's mad, yo. Because I know the clip you man are talking about. It's just that I thought it was fake. So I always laugh. It looks like something like out of an advert. But you man are telling me it's serious. Man touched gloves. Nah, man dipped. You know. I'm not fighting him. That's a dip that is mad. So I think after this fight, obviously, as well, people, we will, if you're new here, what we do with Big Fights, Big Nights, we do the preview shows on a Thursday or Friday, and then Saturday, immediately following the fight, we'll do the recap of it. And I think the next biggest fight after this, I think it's Saunders, Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo. I believe so. Unless there's one in between, which is in May.
That's in May.
That's in May. Yeah. Cinco de Mayo. I'm presuming Cinco de Mayo.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, that week. Yeah.
Speaking of them lot, is there any word of Chris Eubank Jr. coming back and fighting yet?
He's fighting on Saturday. He's fighting on Saturday.
Oh, is he?
May the 1st, sorry. May the 1st. May the 1st on the Chisora Parker card, I think.
Who's he fighting?
Oh, it's either this Saturday or on May the 1st. He's definitely got a fight.
It's a Brit.
Yeah, British guy. Yeah, British guy. Something. What's he called? Sure, it's called Watson or something. His surname, I can't remember. Mixed race guy it is. He's a mixed race guy.
It is. Let me have a look. We'll be able to check now. Laptop moving hella slow. I'm not sure, but yeah, he's definitely fighting a Brit.
Where do we see?
Yeah.
What's he fighting at? Is he fighting at middleweight again?
Middleweight. Yeah. Middleweight, not super. Yeah, just that's his natural weight.
Where do we see him in the run-ins? Where do we see him in the run-ins in the middleweight division?
I have no idea. He just needs to fight somebody.
Yeah, he just
Fight a Charlo or something. Just fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? So we can rank where you are. He don't fight nobody.
Yeah.
He's like Kell Brook. Don't fight nobody. As good, we don't know how good you are because you don't fight anybody. And it's really frustrating because he's also a talker as well.
But I mean, at the division, there's Charlo.
Yeah, fight Charlo.
There's Demetrius Andrade. You know, there's Triple G, but Triple G, dude, it's just like he don't want to fight nobody unless it's Canelo. If it ain't Canelo, then he's just gonna fight. No competition. If he's not fighting Canelo, then he's just not gonna fight nobody, man. No other name, no other big name.
So where do we see that's the question I'm asking. How do we see a Chris Eubank coming up against a Charlo? Is he reaching way out of his body doing that, or do we actually think, nah, this kid's actually got the skills to be there with them?
And it's just, I think sometimes in the fights he fights the fight that he's not supposed to, dude. Like,
and
you're in there.
That's what
why?
That's why it's going to be interesting to see what Roy Jones does with him.
All that skill, dude, and he goes in there and try to brawl. It reminded me of fighting. What's his name? The Russian guy.
Who?
When Tim Bradley fought.
Provodnikov.
Yeah, like why?
Yeah.
This dude, go box him.
Go Bucks. You know what I'm saying? Go Bucks. If you can box, but that's trying to be fan favorites. You get me? And crowd favorites and please the fans and that. Yo, the fans ain't gonna do that for you when you got a concussion and that. Box logging, box quote unquote boring and that. Save yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to get punched in the face.
Yeah. And listen, they can't say it can't be done because Floyd Mayweather done it and made the money.
Yeah, there we go. You know what I'm saying? Sell the fight outside of it and then don't worry about inside the ring.
To a dog when you had to.
Yes.
He turned into a dog when you had to.
Yeah. Like I said, money makes.
Devin
Roy Jones will definitely mold him though. Because you can't. If you've got Roy Jones as your mentor and you're still out here fucking up, there's nobody. Like, what's the point, isn't it?
If Roy's in his corner and he fucking up, man, he's he
needs to retire, innit? He needs to retire. If he don't improve on every aspect of his game under Roy Jones, call it a day, man. Just call it a day, innit? You ain't gonna get him. There's not that many better people to be under the.
Roy Jones just showed us at age 50-something that nobody could do in boxing. He just showed us how to take away Mike Tyson's body shot and uppercut. Couldn't even throw the uppercut on Roy Jones.
Yeah.
He couldn't even throw it. Like, if you don't learn from this dude, something is wrong, man. His dad is still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Can I say something about that Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight?
Oh yeah, please.
I think Roy Jones won that fight.
It was just I think it could have been a draw or
either way, innit? Yeah, either way.
I thought Roy Jones won that fight.
I think Tyson was more aggressive though.
Tyson.
But Tyson couldn't catch him.
I was
like,
not get caught, dude. I ain't never seen nobody like play with Mike Tyson, like that. Like all that shit. No look. Jab and shit.
I've heard that Tyson Holyfield signed. I'm sure it's been signed on it.
He's Tyson
Holyfield. Yes.
I don't want to see that fight, man. I don't want to see anyone get.
Hey, Tyson coming for revenge like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah, for real. I don't want to see it, but I'm definitely gonna watch it.
They're supposed to be friends, now, isn't it?
You know, they both want that though, but I think Tyson
Yeah.
coming for some revenge for real, man.
We soon gonna find out.
That's big money for them, though. That's big money for them.
Yeah.
Can't believe these man. I understand get your bag, but it's kind of like, it's sad to see you, man. I ain't trying to see you, man, after the fact and that. You know what I'm saying? And that. It's like you want to remember Mike Tyson as Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? And that.
You know what? I feel you, but at the same time, it's like, but he's still Mike Tyson. Like, no one. Listen, if someone tried to tell me, if I was 60 years of age and someone's going to me, oh, stop singing, bro, you're past it now, I'm gonna tell them to fuck off, innit? Like, I love. I get this, but okay, all right. Here's a better comparison. So, Lindrix, you're singing. You release your project. That's your most fire project. And then 10 years down the line, you're trying to call this. Whatever, so say it was the Lindrix EP. Let's just say it was called I Am Lindrix Zayla. Then you're trying to do that I Am Lindrix Zayla too. It's like, no, call it something different, fam. I hate when people go over that. Don't rehash. Always trying to reheat McDonald's food, man. Allow it, man. Innit? You know what I'm saying? Always trying to do it and that. Like, leave it alone. But listen, Flawless. The fact of the matter is, I understand that, but then when do we draw the line between doing it for the fans? If we're going to complain about certain people doing certain things for the fans, when do we take control of, okay, this is what I love to do, so I'm just going to do this my whole life because this is what I love to do?
The difference is you're singing ain't going to get you killed.
Nah, when it's not going to get you killed.
That's
Mike Tyson.
No.
So like, Mike he's a pro. So how many old ass people that are not professional fighters have we seen whoop somebody young?
Yeah.
Some young dude get the bus driver. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. So it's just like, it's Mike, man. It's like the professional. And Fury was even scared to take the I wouldn't say scared, but he was like, there's still a what if. Like, he's like, this is still my type. What if he knocks me out? He's like, for me. So he still pumps fear into these.
Yeah, because he's Iron Mike, but Lindrix. Lindrix, you know what the difference is, though? I want to see you be able to do this at the highest level and that. Like, these men can no longer perform at the highest level and the heights they can reach. If you can still sing 20 years down the line and you're still at the heights, calm. If not, it's a wrap. If I'm doing this 10 years down the line and I fall off, I'm giving it up if I can't perform at the highest level.
I think Mike can perform at a high level for about 4 rounds.
No. For a 60-year-old though, I'm talking about Iron Mike in his prime. He's nothing. That's it. If I can't see you like that, I'm not really trying to go with nostalgia, man.
I know.
Hella sentiment, man. I'm not into that. Leave it to the heavyweights of today. Same way I don't want to see Joshua and Fury in 10 years. Yeah, of course you're gonna support it. I get it, but it's like even Floyd Mayweather talking about. I don't want to see Floyd come back, and that's my favorite fighter of all time.
To be fair,
I don't want to see him come back. But the same, I'd still watch it.
I'd still watch it. Yeah, definitely.
Just like I would with Tyson, I don't want to see him fight, but I'll watch it.
Yeah, you will, because there's sentiment and nostalgia. But at least we're honest about it. Say that again, Jake.
Yeah.
Floyd was to come back, I would want to see him fight Bud or Spence. That's it.
Oh, you trying to you gonna throw him with the Kings like that, fam? Yeah, Jesus.
I mean, but it's Floyd. Everybody be like, man, but it's Floyd though.
It is Floyd, but you are really throwing him at the deep end.
Floyd. And it's just like little ass Floyd.
That's a tough fight.
5'9", 150 pounds, whooped Canelo. And I don't see anybody from welterweight or 154, any of that touching Canelo. Do you think if any of these guys from welterweight fought Canelo?
Nah, none of them.
That's due to his greatness, but people like to try and sweep that under the rug and be like, "Oh, Canelo was good enough."
The problem is though, it's like,
the thing is, Canelo's not had to improve that much since then. That's just how good Mayweather was in that fight. Because I remember that fight clear as day. That's why I don't like how people try and say, "Oh, he was too young at the time." No, he was in a no. He's not actually improved that much since then. You know what I'm saying? Like he's still doing this that he was doing in that fight against the guys that he's fighting today. The difference is he couldn't land those shots on Mayweather. He went there. And he was just getting boxed up.
So it's for me though with Mayweather. Like, the only reason I don't want to see Mayweather come back and do this fight is because you've got a perfect record, bro. And if in the 0.001% chance that YouTuber taps you one on the jaw and knocks you out, and you take your one loss to him, bro, I am gonna be vexed, bro. I'll be so pissed off.
But you know what? It's an exhibition, so it won't even
The thing
count.
is, it don't go on his record. It don't go on his record. It's on his record.
You can't. You got banged up by a YouTuber. All big Floyd Mayweather, you know. all big making 300 million a fight.
But you know what? When he get in the ring with Floyd, that shit gonna hit his ass like.
Facts.
Like, this is Floyd. Like,
This is Floyd Mayweather.
How am I gonna hit this dude? How am I gonna?
Like I said, the 0.001% chance that it happens.
Not even 0.1, just point.
Nah, just point point nothing. That's what it is. 0.0.
But to Zane says, we will do a show on this closer to the time, but we'll get everyone's predictions quick. So Zane, big up Zane. He says, what's the predictions for the Billy Joe Saunders Canelo fight? We'll start with you, Lindrix, just quickly. Don't go into detail because obviously we're going to do a show on it closer to time. But who do you have currently?
It'll go the distance. Billy Joe will win.
Okay. All right, JK.
Man, I said this some years ago. I'm going with Billy Joe.
Man. Going with Billy 2 for that surprised me. That 2 for Billy Joe. Is it a full house so far? Beans, what you telling me?
Yeah. Obviously, we'll discuss that obviously close to the time. But I am gonna say Billy Joe. I'm gonna say Billy Joe.
Oh, you're saying it again,
Billy Joe. All right. I can't wait to
Yeah.
discuss this in further because I've thought about this without going all into detail. And I think even if the only way Billy Jones gets the victory is if he knocks him out. I don't think he wins on points, even if he wins on points.
He would have to have a Mayweather performance.
Even people forget though.
Mayweather
someone still called it a draw. So to me, they're gonna wilder fury him in terms of the first one. In terms of even if he wins, someone called it a draw. You didn't know that? Someone called it a draw, fam. I could not believe my ears.
One of the judges,
that was wild.
After the fight, Mayweather was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Majority decision. Someone called it 114, and that. Yeah, you need your P45, mate. That's what you need. You need your P4. I could not believe it.
Is that the fight where he's got the clip of the old dude and he's like, "You don't know shit about boxing"?
No.
Which fight was that from?
Shane Mosley. Oh yeah, it's Ortiz. Yeah.
Oh, bro. That interview is so funny. And the old man's like, "If I was 40 years younger, I'd kick your ass."
You ain't gonna do shit.
You ain't gonna do shit.
Y'all don't know shit about boxing, and you don't give me my.
So you got Canelo.
I got Canelo then. I got Canelo in it.
Okay.
I'm in the minority. The reason why I have Canelo, simply like I said, I'm not saying that Billy Joe can't outbox him and win on points. I just know Canelo always gets favorable cards. I don't see unless Billy Joe. I think Billy Joe has to knock him down twice to get a draw. Hear what I said? I think he has to knock him down twice for the judges to call it a draw. I think Canelo's already 3 rounds up on them cards already, and the fight's not till May. He's up already on the cards, and the fight's not till May. There's no way they're giving. Like, he would have to, like, we spared the Mayweather performance. Mayweather dominated him, and they still called it a draw. This is Billy. I'm not saying Billy Joe can't win because I rate him. I'm just saying
even in the Austin Trout fight, that card was crazy. It was
wild.
Crazy, yeah.
Canelo always gets favorable against Golovkin. Both times he always gets favorable. Whether you had him winning or losing, he always gets favorable cards. The Lara fight, always gets favorable cards.
Over the next few years, I think what they need to start doing is guys that are retiring, they need to be the ones that are judging fights. Because these judges,
you know what they need to be doing?
Guys?
They need to be VOing
these guys.
They need to be managing the judges then. Just get a couple old boxers.
Because sometimes it's the same, especially over here. I noticed that more so because do you know what I'm saying? I'm watching more British fights. Some of the judges, it's the same ones all the time. And I'm like, what fight are you watching? Like, you'll get 2 judges that'll give it like 115, 114, and then the same couple of judges will be like 117, 111. Like, nah, you can't have been watching the same fighters.
That's the mad part.
Or me, or most of the people in here.
Mad part. like I'll like in certain fights, I'll score fights and like post out on my Twitter and like JK might have like 1 or 2 rounds another way. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It might be 115 to 113. But how is it 115 to 113 and then another judge has got 118 to 109 or 110?
That's what I'm saying. What fight did you watch in here?
How are you two so off the same page? 2 or 3 rounds I give you a blind.
I think some fighters, I mean some of them judges is like they might like one might like aggression. One might like body punches. One might not even count body punches. You know, some refs don't even care. Some might like jabs more. They might just be looking at different shit.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Go on.
Who's your guy's favorite referee?
Oh, I like my man who's always pulling the faces, the black guy. What's his
name?
He's my guy, yo. That's my guy.
Dude.
That's my guy.
He's the guy in it. You know who I like as well? The old black man as well. I like him, but the grey bro.
That guy was my uncle.
Okay, because he don't take no shit. He don't take no shit. He's very fair, but he's very like, don't take the piss. He takes control of the fight, like the points where you need a referee to step in and take control. But the other guy, he's my guy with the mad faces, isn't it? He's nuts in it.
Man, like he be all into it, man. Hey, Keith Thurman might have been the funniest, man.
Wow,
that shit, his reaction to that. Josecito Lopez cracked.
Yeah. Remember that? Watching that, I loved it.
Like he was like, ooh.
Yeah. He's watching it like how we watch it,
like how I watch it.
He don't care. Like there was one where they were boxing and it was getting towards the end of the round. He's like, and then he jumps in and breaks it off, type of thing. But he's watching thoroughly. You see, like,
he's watching, but he's working though.
Hey, listen, to be a boxing referee, you have to love boxing more than the boxers in it. Like you have to be there for you to not be even in the fight and stand in the middle of the ring where you and join in and might get boxed by 2 men at the same time. You've got to really love boxing, innit? Like,
he actually watches it like
ooh.
He don't even want to be the ref. He just wants to be a fan up close. He's
trying to be Eddie Head, bro.
He loves it. That the face is what he pulls.
Love it.
Guy's funny.
Love it. It is. It's great. So we all saying anyway for back to White Povetkin 2. We've all got White via KO. So it's a full house. Interesting. It's interesting. All right. So before we close that out, let's say White wins, because we touched on what happens if White loses. White wins. What's the next step? Because obviously Joshua Fury are going to have their 2 fights. We know what White's like. He's impatient. Who does he fight?
I think it's King Kong, to tell you the truth.
You reckon it's King Kong?
We were talking about that before the Povetkin. They were actually talking, so it might actually be him.
It's a good fight still.
All right, so King Kong's there for one.
If he
Wilder,
I don't see Wilder. You know, I just don't see.
Do you know? I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I want to see it or anything, but
I do. That's my favorite. That's my choice. That's my pick.
Yeah, what I'm saying, in terms of like whether we fucking or it makes sense in terms of if White wins. Obviously, Wilder can't fight Fury or Joshua. Neither can White. So it makes sense for those 2 guys to fight because they should have already fought based on the fact that White was his manager for 2 years. So it kind of makes sense, and it doesn't really matter who loses that fight in terms of if either of those 2 guys lose, they're still in the mix because they're the next 2 anyway. After Fury and Joshua, there's no one above them.
Because we know
probably apart from T's, you can probably put him in the book because he's not held a title. That's probably the only thing that kind of.
I'm gonna actually check the rankings, the WBC heavyweight rankings, because then probably have a mandatory in it, maybe. To put it under,
well, Povetkin is the mandatory right now. Povetkin is the manager at the moment. If White wins, if White wins, he takes back the spot that he had already.
Yeah. Well, no, that's my point. And who would be number 2 for White? Would it be Povetkin or would it be the person who's 3rd?
Wilder.
Would it be Wilder? Okay.
Have you
I'm
guys
guessing he
heard
was
Fury's
second.
like recent interview?
No, what did he
This
say? I
one?
haven't heard his recent interview.
Well, at ringside.
He was saying Wilder actually might be next. I know people keep talking about this 2-fight deal, but like, because man, like Eddie Hearn, he's been saying stuff for a long time.
Signed, yeah, signed. That's what he was
Bob
saying.
Arum, oh, we got this sign, but there's like no date, there's no location, there's none of that.
They've got
I think people forget that Wilder's in the arbitration right now. He's probably gonna win that. So it's like we have no idea what's gonna go on. And Fury is like he's like, I'm kind of done with that fight. You know, he was talking about the Joshua fight. He's like I'm over it. I haven't been in the ring in over a year. I think it's been over a year since him and Wilder fought.
Yeah. It's
like
February.
They want to get a fight going on, and he's like, Wilder. It might be Wilder next. So,
I agree with this though. From one, he said White just needs to sit his backside down this time, but he will not. If he wins, I think
happen. I keep
it's
hearing
not gonna
this
happen.
fight deal, but like they don't have no like shit. You should have a location and a date. By
They've got 20 days left to find a location and a date. Basically, 20 days they got.
I don't want to see Fury Wilder 3. So hopefully we get this Joshua Fury 2-fight deal, and then we can actually find out who's the best in the division. Yeah. We can find out and then kick on from there. I think the sport needs it. We'll soon find out, and they're going to be interesting. They're going to be great shows as well. I can't wait to do previews.
Yeah, they're good.
Recap as well. It's going to be mad.
Make sure you do your homework, boys, because I've got my shit ready.
The recap going to be mad. I ain't even saying too much in the preview. I'm gonna let Fury do it in the ring, innit? And then the recap. That's when we gonna talk properly and that. But I can't wait for them. We gonna open up the StreamYard link at that point as well. We would definitely do that because that's gonna be
sounds
good. People would have shit to say, so we'll have people on. We'll have people on both the preview and the recap. So you lot will be able to call in because that's when all the casuals are gonna pour over and everyone's gonna want to get their opinion. And I'm gonna write down everyone's predictions as well. I'm writing down everybody, all our fours, everybody who calls in their predictions, and then on the recap show, everyone's getting called out if you got it wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Someone's getting it.
Of course, man. Like that's what it's about. But love to everyone who has locked in. We'll start with you first, JK. Let them know where people can follow you and what you got going on, etc.
Follow me, the Carl Vam, on Twitter. That's about it, man. Instagram, JDK Von Doom. That's it, man.
Large Bean, same to you.
Twitter is right there. @Beans8207DE. Same for Instagram.
Okay, Lindrix. I know you got bad things going on because you be working extremely hard.
We've got hella stuff going on. Yeah, you can catch me on all social media. I am Lindrix Zayla. It's right there. That's all my social media. That's TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, the lot. I've got a new music video coming out. We're dropping a song every month for the next 6 months. And I've got a live performance coming at the end of April, so stay tuned. And make sure you tune in next week on Wednesday for Music Minded Podcast. Thank you so much.
Return of Music Minded Podcast, people. There you go. So
hey, Landry, give me them highlights too when we get off.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, man. I want to see them.
Yeah, man. Big. So like Lindrix said there, Music Minded Podcast. If you're following me across all socials, that's me, Flawless. You can find everyone's tags, JK's, Beans, Lindrix. Love to everyone who has locked in. If you're watching this live right now, you're watching this back, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, Sarcasm City TV and that. There ain't no like I said, S Morgan, Flawless, you need me on this as a boxing expert, LOL, I know my ish. Like I said, when we open up the lines, that's your chance because we're going to do that. On the bigger fights, we're going to open up the lines and then everyone can get their Max Kellerman on in it. Yeah, love to everyone who's locked in. This show and all the other shows in Sarcasm City TV are also available as audio-only platforms. So wherever you listen to podcasts, type in Sarcasm City TV or pop up SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. The membership as well, the link's underneath the description on this video and every video. And this has been the Big Fights, Big Nights Only, WHYTE POVETKIN 2 preview. Thank you very much for tuning in.